Hello everyone, my name is Christina Werner and welcome to another live stream here on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. For today's live stream, I thought it'd be fun to use these two die sets. This one is from Lawn Fawn. It's called Spring Flowers Backdrop. And thankfully, I discovered that on the back, they have an example of how you could use it. So it shows that to cover all of the flowers around the border, you need basically 3 of each flower size and then the centers. And then you also need 4 tulips. So when it gets to the die cutting portion where we need all the flowers, I'll just be referencing the numbers of flowers that they have on the back. But of course you could add additional flowers or put them where they're not placed, already on the border. You could just put them wherever you want. I think this is a pretty versatile set. And then this one from Simon Says Stamp, it's one that I designed for them. And it actually has the words and then also the outer halo part. I'm not going to be using the shadow with the halo, whatever you want to call it. I'm only going to be using the words, and I've already done all my die cutting. I've done some prep work for y'all. Today should go fairly smooth. So I'm going to put this one aside. This is just the You Mean the World to Me die set. We're going to jump in and do a simple card that's just die cutting, and then we're going to do a little bit more of an involved card with some watercoloring to make the colorful elements on the card. So we're going to start with the more simple version. All right, so I've got some pattern paper. This is actually pattern paper from, let's see, it was from this pack that I got in a Simon Says Stamp card kit. I'll link to the paper below once I've got all my supplies down there. I'm going to add them after the live stream's over. But this is just one of the sheets of paper from this pad of paper. And I thought I was going to create some, stripes using cardstock. But then I thought, I have this gorgeous pattern paper. I'll just use the pattern paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is adhere this pattern paper to my card base. I've already folded a card base here, and I'm hoping, there we go. Got to get some adhesive going here. This is Tombow Extreme Adhesive. It is so super strong. It's my favorite tape runner, and I can't stop using it. I've used it for a few years now. Okay, like it really sticks to your fingers, right? All right, I'm going to adhere this starting from the fold in this top corner, and I kind of wiggle it to get it along the fold, and then I make sure it lines up in that corner as much as I can. And if it doesn't line up perfectly, it's okay, because I'm going to add this die cut border to it, and it is the perfect A2 size, but as you can see, it hangs off the edge. So I'll be using an X-Acto knife to kind of even up all the edges. All right, here's where things get a little bit tedious. I'm going to be adding glue to the back of this. And I've got to get a few little drops of glue at every single point that's an individual shape by itself. This is just a little bit tedious. If you want to, you can use like a micro dot sheet or something like that. But I thought I'd just keep it simple and use some dabs of glue. So first I'm going to go around and get the flowers. Just like a little dab of glue on each petal, or maybe 2, will be just fine. We just need to have enough glue that it's going to hold those areas down. And after I have all of the little glue dots on the flowers, then I'll do a quick run around the outside border. And I'll want to get it as close to the edge of the outside as possible, so that I don't have any areas kind of peeling up on the edge of the card. That's where you're going to get most of your paper kind of separating. Okay, so as I go around this outer edge, I'm going to add the glue to this outer area. And I can rotate it. I don't know how well you guys can see the glue being applied, but I'm just doing a really thin little line of glue outside of that stitching line. All right, I'm going to grab my, actually, I don't think I need my tweezers. I just got to flip this over And then I'm going to line it up along this bottom corner and let that drop in place. All right, now if you have a really large acrylic block, this is the time to use it, but really you could just use like a book or anything that's going to like hold that down. But I happen to have a big, huge monster block that's pretty big. In fact, I might even need one bigger than that, just because I want to make sure all the edges are covered. So I'll do this. Well, that's not big enough either. I used to have a huge monster block. Oh, here it is. This is the one. There we go. And then I can stack these other ones on top just for a little bit of weight. I have so many acrylic blocks that I've accumulated over the years. For real. Here's another one and another one. Here's one that I haven't even opened, but it's from Mama Elephant. But I'm just going to set that over there. Ta-da! And let that kind of sit and dry. I'm going to close up my glue bottle. And now I have 5 million flowers that I need to put together. So let's get these kind of organized. I figured it'd be easiest to put the centers of the flowers on first. As far as the foam goes, I have these little tiny foam squares. These are from Scrapbook Adhesives. And I was wondering if I could cut them into quarters, if they would be the right size. So I'm going to do this. I'm just going to cut it off the sheet. And then I'm going to cut straight down the middle. Right. And then let's see if I can do this. I'm going to, okay, that makes for a very, very tiny little foam square, but I think it'll work. Okay. And I'm also going to not use my tweezers for this, but switch to a little pokey foam tool. I think that'll give me a little bit more control to just pick these up and put them on top of the flowers. And I can just attach those right away. That goes really quick, actually. I'm surprised. Okay, this is a small one. Ta-da! So easy. Okay, so I've got all my flowers prepped. I'm going to take an X-Acto knife and a T-square ruler, and I'm just going to clean up these edges where it's gone past. And let's see. Just get my ruler lined up right along that edge. And I'm going to do really light cuts like that. Got just the paper. Looks like that's lined up pretty well with the edge of the card, so I'm not going to worry about that. But up here, I do need to cut through the paper and then 2 layers of cardstock for the actual card base. So I'm just going to keep doing very, very light cuts. If you go in there and you're, you're holding it down really hard with lots of force, that's when you can, it'll slip and then you can injure yourself. So here we go. Now that's all evened up. And then my greeting, which is holographic on top. It's actually some holographic cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. And then I have 3 layers of white that I've glued all together. So this is like pretty beefy. It's pretty substantial. We're going to be putting that right over the center. Little dabs of glue. I have an even pressure with my fingertips on the glue bottle, so that's just a little bit of glue coming out. And then I can go through and add little dabs of glue. And it goes fairly quickly. I was surprised how fast I was able to adhere all 4 layers together. Okay, here we are. We're ready. So now I'm going to get this just in the spot where I want it. Looks good to me. I'm going to put my stack of acrylic blocks on top again. And now I'm going to come to my flowers and I'm going to be adding those foam squares on the back. Okay, I think I have foam on everything. So let's lift this off and we can start putting all of the foam on. That holographic looks so cool, right? All right, I'm going to use tweezers. I can just peel the backing off and then come in and start adding that.
Holding close, holding tight, let the moon slowly take over on night. The sky has never been clearer than now. The little lights float around, a million fireflies that never touch the ground. I see your pretty eyes light up as they fly away, heading towards town. I've seen 1,000 suns to many.
Because there is a big gap right there. Okay, so there's the first card. I think you could also do the greeting in white, and I think it would still look really cool. So for the other more colorful version, I thought it would be fun to do some watercoloring. So I've got my palette here. I'm going to be using 6 different colors of Concord and Ninth liquid watercolors. Okay, and I might need some more of each of those, so I'm going to keep them out and handy. I've got some watercolor paper already ready to go. And I'm going to be cutting out each of the flowers from one sheet. So I'm going to do kind of like a weird kind of mishmash of colors over all of this. And I want to make sure that each area has enough of that color for each one of the elements. So for example, for the centers of the flowers, I want them to be more yellow and orange. So I'm going to do a whole yellow and orange section up here. Then I'm going to do maybe like more of a pink yellow flower combination, then maybe like a blue red combination down here. All right, I want the colors to really move around, so I'm going to go ahead and just spritz my watercolor paper with water.
Pretty sights have crossed my way, but you'll always be beautiful. A little boy, a little girl, playing love games in the middle of it all. A little kiss, a little touch, yeah, it's all it takes, no for sure. Auburn eyes, a single bed, staring at the ceiling, slowly lean your head, put it on my shoulder and I close.
And I'm going to go to my other one for the other background. And on this one, I'm mainly going to concentrate on these 3 colors, Sprout, Oceanside, and Midnight, because on the die set, everything that is exposed, once you put the flowers on, everything that's exposed underneath is just like leaves and things like that.
Praying for this night to never end. Seen many lovely nights with stars that shine as far as I could see, but you'll always be beautiful to me.
All right, so we're going to do some die cutting, like I said. So first I'm going to take the frame, and we're going to be cutting it out of this right here. Hopefully we don't get color transferring to my cutting plate. Looks like we're good. Okay, I really hope this cut all the way through. Looks like for the most part it did. Let's start cutting these other ones. So we need the centers. Let's have a couple of flowers like right through here. A couple big flowers right there. And then We'll do these. And then the tulips, let's get a little bit of the kind of aqua and the yellow. And we'll just have kind of like pinky purple one. I think that'll be really pretty. Okay, there we go. All right, that's really pretty. And over a white background, that's gonna be great. So, I already prepped for this other card. So we're gonna do just like I did before and glue this directly down onto the front of the card, making sure to get those corners really well. Now I just started hearing from that bottom corner. Go along that edge. And then I'll use my big stack of acrylic blocks once again and set that aside. So now we have all of these flowers that we need to figure out. So now I can start doing all my little foam squares once again.
Seen many lovely nights with stars that shine as far as I could see. But you'll always be beautiful, holding close, holding tight. Let the moon slowly take over on the night. The sky has never been clearer than now.
Oh, am I gonna have the right amount of foam? I think I'm gonna have one extra. Perfect. I'm actually doing lines of glue this time. It's just happening to be faster. Okay, and then right on top there. Kind of hold that down for just a second or two. And then we will start adhering the flowers. So many fun, ways to put this together. Okay, so since these are all colorful, I'm gonna plan out where they're going to be going, just so I know or have an idea of where the different colored flowers will be. You know what? The centers of these flowers look like they almost need a little glossy accents. So I might have to do some glossy accents on these. Oh, well, I do have a couple extra flowers that I could put on if I wanted to. Like if I wanted to do an extra one right there. Oh, I'd like that. Let's do that. I think I will put one right there. Do I want that one or do I want that one? I think I want this one. Love that. Just because I can. Glossy accents. I was going to stop and not go any further, but I'm sorry, I can't help myself. I'm just going to do some glossy accents on the top of each one of these centers. So here are the two cards that I completed today. I love this. The glossy accents will dry back completely clear. Right now it's a little bit cloudy, but in the final photos that you'll see here at the end of the video and on Instagram and my blog, you'll see that they're nice and clear and you can see the color underneath. The dimension on these, it's hard to see on camera, but in person the dimension is just perfect. Love it so much. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'll be back very soon with another card video. Until then, thanks so much for watching.